to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, and tonight I want to talk a little bit about what spiritual evolution really is, because we hear this term a lot: raising your vibration, how to access higher realms. I mean, all this stuff has been tossed around spiritual communities since forever. So I have a couple of theories about this, and hopefully you'll entertain them. So, if you consult, especially with people on the Eastern religious side of things, you'll hear a lot of phrases getting kicked around, like giving up your ego and eliminating your individual identity to be able to access much higher realms. And this has obviously bothered me, as a lot of these things do, because if you completely give up your individual identity, then what you're left with is unity with everything else, but a lack of self-perception to be able to explore the things that you want to explore. But fortunately, I don't think that it really happens this way. So what we're dealing with is kind of a language/communication breakdown. So it doesn't mean that anyone is really giving up their individual selves to be able to access higher places. I think it's a classic case of just a breakdown of communication, a breakdown of translation. So in my book, What Spiritual Evolution Means and how this can relate to being in higher, more exalted realms, whether that's through astral projection or the actual dying experience, it involves being in what's called flow state. So when people on the Eastern religious spectrum talk about giving up their sense of identity or their ego, what I think they really mean is entering flow. So when you're entering flow, you are existing as you are meant to exist without being weighed down by thoughts and anxieties and problems and fears and self-consciousness and all those types of things. And so when you're in flow, you're kind of operating at your best capacity. So basketball players, Michael Jordan, back when he was in the NBA, if he was in flow state, then he'd be performing like miraculous things in the basketball court. And that's because he was attuned to the moment. So one reason that we have so many fond memories of when we were little kids is because we are naturally in that flow state. So we don't have this complex self-consciousness that we develop as we become adults. And so we can take any situation and enjoy it on a much greater degree than we can when we're adults. So when you're a little kid and you go out to the yard and you find a snail, it's the coolest thing in the world, because it's kind of like you also become part of the snail, and you can enjoy a little tiny thing on a much, much bigger level. So the real sign to me of spiritual advancement is being able to enter that flow state. And notice, this does not mean you don't have an individuality. What it means is that your essence is operating in a clear state that's not being hindered by other things around you, including anxieties and negative thoughts and all that kind of stuff. To be able to enter flow states, you have to be able to overcome all of the challenges and things continually making you unhappy as you become an adult. Namely, bills and fears and worries and wants and desires and materialistic goals. So how happy you can be in the moment and be able to enjoy things like a little kid is the hallmark of how, quote, spiritually advanced you are. So if you have meditated for the last 30 years, but you're awkward in social situations and self-conscious, I'm sorry to say it, even if you can achieve all these feats in meditation, the fact that you fall right back into that kind of self-consciousness means you might not be as spiritually developed as you think you are. That's why I don't agree with the idea of just meditating to achieve some kind of higher exalted state of consciousness. In fact, you have to be able to confront the things that hold you back and then learn how to conquer them and conquer those fears. By doing so, you will then enter a more exalted state. So the people I've met like this in my life have come in all shapes and sizes and flavors, and it's typically not the people who are continually practicing like meditation, or even the people who are consciously practicing spirituality. It might be the guy who is making your French fries at the fast food restaurant, and he's just perfectly happy doing what he's doing, and long ago, for whatever reason, he's given up worrying about things or stressing about life's difficulties. I've met a lot of ex-military guys who have these abilities because they were in combat, and all of their worst fears came to life as they were being shot at, and friends around them died. And while some people have like really bad PTSD, other people enter a kind of spiritual enlightenment where suddenly nothing phases them anymore, and they realize it's better to just be happy and enjoy the moment than let anything else bother you anymore. And so some of the ex-military guys I know, it doesn't matter what they're doing, they're just whistling and they're happy and they're relaxed and they're enjoying the moment and they're getting engaged to whatever they're doing. They're always in a flow state. And the people like that who are always in the flow state tend to be a lot more successful, because whatever they're doing it at a capacity that the people who are self-conscious are unable to possibly achieve. So how well you're connected to this kind of childlike happiness is the hallmark of how, quote, spiritually developed you are. And it also means that this whole idea that we need to escape astral realms or escape the earth plane and that this world is so terrible, all of that is, in my opinion, a immature point of view. So again, people in the kind of Eastern religious mindset, they say when you die you have to transcend the astral plane, higher self now, don't go to the astral. The whole point's to go to higher, better places of consciousness. Well, here's the thing. When you enter flow state and you basically can bring that positive energy and loving state of existence to anything you're doing, it doesn't matter what realm you're in. You could be in the realm you're in right now, which is Earth, with all its faults and problems, and be in a state of joy and happiness because you're in the moment, like that child digging up snails. And it doesn't matter what condition you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in the best possible afterlife. You can explore any realm and be, quote, higher consciousness. So it doesn't matter what realm you're in. So that's another kind of doctrine I disagree with. So it doesn't matter to me. Look, I don't want to brag or anything or say that I've achieved something close to this, but I've definitely gone on this path, and I think that I inhabit elements of kind of like the flow state. So basically on a day-to-day basis, yeah, I have off days, I have stressful things happen to me, but I can basically be totally engaged to the moment if I choose to. To me, that's a type of meditation. And I didn't get there easily. I got there through a lot of work, a lot of practice. So I think as a result, my life is a lot happier, and yours can be also. So these are just some thoughts I had tonight. Complicated stuff. I'll go into more of this in other videos. Probably too much to really nail down in one single video. But if you like this, please hit subscribe. Check out the channel. You have lots of videos out there. If you like this video, you can find a lot more by checking out the main channel page. You can check out the description and get involved with afterlife topics. I have a couple books out there. Understanding Life After Death, The Afterlife and Beyond. If you want to check those out, it's all in the channel description. Okay, this is Cyrus. I'll talk to you next time.